Today we will be breaking down the deepest position, I think personally, on the Miami Dolphins, and that is wide receiver. What is up, Fin fans? How you guys doing on this Monday? It has been rainy in New Jersey on and off for the past couple days, and supposedly it's not going to stop. I feel like I'm in Miami. But yeah, today we've hit the point in our camp battle position breakdown. We're at wide receiver. I told you guys the training camp starts on the 30th, so that week of the last week of July is when I'm going to be doing a lot of training camp preview videos. So I need to start pumping out some content. Especially when it comes to the camp battle positions, because I still have offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, corners, safeties, special teams. I still have 6 positions to go to, and if I do one a week, like I have done, I'm not going to make it. So you'll get 2 a week at one point. But I got a lot of videos still. And again, if you guys, hey Doug, can you talk about this? Or hey Doug, can you talk about this? Comment below and put video idea dash, throw them at me, and if they're spicy enough, maybe I'll do them. So yeah, we're going to be jumping into wide receivers. Let me pop them up. And these are the wide receivers. 11. We have Braxton Berrios, Robbie Chosen, and again, you can see his name is Robbie Chosen. Chris Coleman, River Craycraft, Dawood Davis, Eric Izukoma, Tyreek Hill, Braylon Sanders, Freddie Swan, Jalen Waddle, and Cedric Wilson Jr. Now, real quick, I'm going to give you a quick update on the Tyreek Hill situation. Mike Florio did a little video talking about it, and will he be suspended? And you look at situations like Ezekiel Elliott, like he talked about, and how he got suspended even though there was proof that he wasn't guilty, and yada yada, and it's just the NFL being the NFL. But he also brought up a very interesting fact is the NFL takes a hot minute to make a decision and come to some type of conclusion. So if Tyreek Hill were to get suspended, from what I'm picking up from Mike Florio, it probably won't be this season, because they probably won't come to an understanding or agreement until probably next season, especially because of all the convoluted news. He's not pressing charges. They are pressing charges. The investigation is over. The investigation is still ongoing. There's so much back and forth here, hearsay, and it's just Tyreek, most likely, if he does get suspended, it'll be next season. Because Devontae Adams' situation is being resolved now, and that happened last season. So I say don't worry about it. But yeah, just want to give you a quick update on Tyreek Hill. So, like I said, the wide receiving core for the Miami Dolphins, to me, is probably the deepest, if not one of the 2 deepest on this team right now. Now, I'm going to I want to talk about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and then we'll really get into where the battle really is, because no one's going to de-seat Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, right? Tyreek Hill, 8 years in the NFL. He number 1 in PFF with a 92 grade. He had 1,710 receiving yards, which was 2nd in the NFL. He had 7 touchdowns, which was tied for 12th in the NFL. He had 4 drops, which isn't bad. It's tied for 30th. When targeted, 102.2 passer rating. That's really good off of 170 targets. Jalen Waddle, PFF grade of 83.5, which is 16th ranked. 1,356 yards, 7th ranked. 8 touchdowns, which is 8th ranked. 8 drops, which is 2nd ranked. He needs to do a lot better with the drop situation. And 122.6 rating when targeted. That is number 2 in the NFL on 117 targets. The biggest thing with Jalen Waddle is he kind of does this thing where he jumps up in the air and kind of tries to like huddle his knees and everything around the ball instead of kind of just hands in it. He needs to work on that, because those drops need to be fixed, especially in certain situations like the Minnesota Vikings game and even the playoff game. He had a few pivotal drops. You got those 2 guys. They're your starters, hands down. Where the battle starts with the wide receivers is who's the third wide receiver? Who is that guy who's going to play, in our trip set or in whatever type of formation that we have 3 wide receivers on the field? Who's that third guy? Now, is it Robbie Chosen, 8-year vet, who has, I'm hearing very good things from OTAs and minicamp, and again, we'll see when training camp starts. His best year was 2020. 136 targets. He had 1,096 yards, 17th ranked in 2020. He had 3 touchdowns. He only had 4 drops, which is 42nd ranked, which was really low. And when he was targeted, he gave up a 96.5 rating. Not great, but not too bad. So is it Robbie? Is it Cedric Wilson Jr.? Or again, are the Dolphins still trying to move him and waiting to see if something happens during training camp? Is it Eric Izukoma, who is, second year? He was our 4th round pick. Could he start to see the field? Is it Braxton Berrios? That's where the first phase of this camp battle comes in at the wide receiver position, because, again, it's deep. So who's number 3? Robbie? Is it Braxton, Eric, or Cedric? Right? To me, those are the 4 guys who are kind of fighting to get that third spot to play, opposite of those guys. Now, I'm hearing Eric Izukoma is kind of trying to be trained in the aspect of Gesicki's position last year. That tall, he's 6'2", 202 pounds. The tallest receiver on the team is Robbie. Robbie Chosen 6'3", but he's 190. He's like a walking stick. I'd say the biggest is Eric Izukoma, 6'2", 206, right? Seems like he's trying to play that slot-ish, but also could play that position where Gesicki was running last season. If I'm a betting man, right now I'm thinking it's Robbie. I think Robbie's that third receiver, just off of what I'm hearing. But again, I need to see and hear what he does in training camp and the preseason, because he could very easily disappear. But it seems like him getting this chance in Miami, he's not going to take... Well, he's going to take advantage of it, but he's not going to squander it. He's really going to push hard. So, to me, I feel like the 1-2-3 combo at wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Chosen. But don't think that Braxton isn't going to make the team. To me, I think Braxton is our kick punt returner, and I also think Braxton really does fit well in there, especially in certain situations where maybe Tyreek sits down for a second, or Jalen Waddle, and he goes in the slot and does his thing. And then, Cedric Wilson Jr., how many times have we talked about, he might get traded, or we could possibly trade him, or trade this or trade that? And I never wish injury on anybody. But he seems like a situation where if an injury unfortunately pops up on another team during training camp, the Dolphins might pick up the phone and say, are you interested in possibly Cedric Wilson Jr. and say they have like an offensive lineman or, hey, a fifth or sixth round pick. And they might be like, yeah, sure. We'll kick the tires on that. 6'2", 197 wide receiver. And then you look at the guys that are trying to just make the team, right? You have Chris Coleman, who's an undrafted free agent. You have Dawood Davis, undrafted free agent. Braylon Sanders. You have Freddie Swan, and River Craycraft, right? Those are the 5 guys that are just trying to make the team. And those are the guys that might not get a lot of snaps, right? They might get snaps if Tyreek has a rest day or Waddle has a rest day, and they might get a snap here and there. But again, there's 11 wide receivers on this team right now heading into training camp. And for those bottom of the roster guys, it's going to be hard for them to get snaps. And you've seen it in Tough Enough. That's WWE, Doug. Actually, it's WWF. You've seen in Hard Knocks where sometimes they get frustrated that they're not getting the snaps and they're standing on the sideline because you got a lot of guys ahead of you, and they might be running, an I formation with only 2 wide receivers at times, and how many times can they do it before they get to you, or that 21 package where 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. Again, how at one point will they get to you? So A lot of these guys, when it comes to Chris Coleman, David Davis, Braylon Sanders, Freddie Swan, and River Craycraft, they might be competing with Braxton Berrios to be a kick punt returner or a gunner. And if you don't know what a gunner is, those are the guys that on punts. How many times am I going to say punt in that span of 10 seconds? They're running down the sideline trying to make the tackle. That's how you make the team. That's how those guys at the bottom area of the depth chart, when it comes to certain positions, they make the team, especially at wide receiver and corner. They need that speed. They want that speed for you. As soon as that foot hits the ball for the punter, you take off and you get down there as fast as you can, and you either make the tackle, you pick up the fumble, or you down that ball on the 1 yard line. That's your job. So a lot of times those gunner positions are wide receivers and corners that are on the bottom tier of the depth chart. That's how these guys are going to make the roster. So looking at the wide receiving position, that's where all of a sudden this camp battle position starts to get real interesting, right? Like quarterback, it's the backup quarterback position. It's interesting, but not really. Running backs, it's kind of this trifecta type thing, like this Hydra type thing, multiple heads. And wide receivers where it starts to get interesting, right? Like I said, you got Hill, Waddle, who's number 3, and then who's making the roster. But it even gets more interesting once we get to the offensive linemen, right? Because there's some pieces being moved around, and I'm hearing some really cool, really crazy things happening with the offensive linemen. Same thing with the corners. That's probably the other position besides the Dolphins that I think is really deep is corner. And then you got like linebackers and stuff. So it's going to be very interesting once we start getting to those other positions. But comment below. What's your thoughts? Who do you think makes the roster? Who do you think is wide receiver number 3? Who do you think is our punt kick returner? Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And I'm actually going to get to one of your guys' comments of the day. And this comment comes from, I don't know why YouTube all of a sudden puts your ats as your name now. I hate it. But Bolgraka? I hope that's your name. He says, comment of the day. Are we still doing comment of the day? Yes. If the videos go long, like if I got a lot to talk about and, I have a subject that I'm probably going to ramble on for a hot minute. I tend to just, get to the meat of the matter and then let you guys digest it. But also, I type in comment of the day in my area of YouTube, right? Because in my area of YouTube, I can search through all the comments. So, like, if somebody's like at one point, if I remember somebody asking me a question about something, I can type the question in and find your comment. So, a lot of times what I do is when I'm looking for a comment of the day, I type in, like he did, comment of the day, and I get a list of them, comment of the day, and then I read them. And most of the time, like lately, I've already done a good portion of them. And then some other ones, I've already answered them in videos or done topics on them already. So always continue to put comment of the days below, because the comment of the day will never go away. I created comment of the day for you guys. I created comment of the day so you guys feel like you're incorporated in the channel and you could be in the videos. Always put comment of the day, especially if you have a question, and I will always get to it. It might not be right away, but I will always get to it. And if it's not in a video, I will definitely answer it for you guys. But I hope that answers your question. Yes, comment of the day is still a thing. It will always be a thing. It'll never go away. And even, hey, I got something cool, and I'm going to start incorporating this. If you want to do a video comment of the day, where you video, leave me a video either in my DMs on Instagram or Twitter, or email me. Email's in the description. And email me a comment of the day. Make it short. Don't make it like a 5-minute video of you asking me a question. I'll put that in. Give you even more of an opportunity to get on the channel and leave a video comment of the day. I'm totally down for that. I think that'd be really cool to see you guys literally ask me a question. But comment of the day is never going away. But I hope that clears that up. I will see you guys tomorrow in the next video. I got a lot planned. So, like I said, I got to start pumping these out because training camp's starting in about a month. A month from this week. because it's the 26th, and they will be starting around the 26th. They will be, I think the first one open to you guys is the 30th of July, but I think training camp starts before that. So I got about a month. I got 4 weeks to put out, 6 more positions? You guys are getting a lot of content. So I will see you guys tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. My friends out.